Welcome to Peacevision. We are a portal for positive change. And the guest that I have on today, nobody is more positive. His name is Bill Boggs, and he's joining us from his Palm Beach home. Bill, welcome.
Thank you, John. It's great to be a part of Peacevision. You've worked on this a long time, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Bill, I wanted to just give our audience a little background on you. Can you give us the thumbnail sketch of your years on television and as an author and what you've been up to?
Well, how long you want the thumbnail to be? I've been on television since 1972. I've had 15 different shows, mostly as an interviewer of people. I've interviewed thousands of people. You can go to Bill Boggs TV on YouTube and see all kinds of icons from the last 50 years. I've been certainly been a producer, executive producer of the Morton Downey Jr. Show, produced my own shows on the Food Network for years. I've written 3 books, 2 novels. I've one novel coming out in May, The Adventures of Spike the Wonder Dog. The second book was a self-help book for HarperCollins. The first book was a novel that was purchased for a screenplay that would be inspired by my life. The movie never got made. My life is still going on. So basically, show business is my life. If I go all the way back to my childhood, John, I was a little boy listening to the radio, and I was entranced by the radio personalities of my 4-year-old life. And I wanted to be like the men on the radio. So I am one of those very lucky people who, with some help from a higher power and hard work, was able to make a childhood dream come true. And the dream is still going on.
Well, that's the point. And that's kind of what we wanted to get to here on Peacevision. Letting people discover their dream and pursue it, having the passion to do it, and then telling stories about people such as yourself who've had the courage to pursue their dream and actually have them come true. One of my favorite guest of yours was Frank Sinatra, and I think he was like, weren't you the only person to ever interview him on a TV talk show?
I met Frank at a lifelong Sinatra fan. I was introduced to Frank at 4 o'clock at Easter Sunday morning by Julie Rizzo at Caesar's Palace after having seen his late show and Elvis's early show. And Frank Sinatra and I hit it off. And he said to me after a 15-minute conversation, in the middle of the night, early morning, maybe I'll come and do your show in September in New York. This is April. And I said, Frank, I'm not asking for anything. And he took my hand and he looked at me and said, I know you're not asking, maybe I'll come. And he did. And it made international headlines because he had never been on a talk show before. It's the longest interview that Frank Sinatra ever did in his life. And it was a real gift from Frank. It was my first year on New York television. And we scored a real coup, but it's just because we met. I never actually asked him to come.
That's a great story. But, you've interviewed all these big celebrities and huge stars. And the thing that I like is that you wrote a book about it and you put it in the terms in which we could all benefit from, which is Got What It Takes.
Yeah.
And tell me about how that idea came about and what can people learn from that book?
Okay, well, as a lifelong interviewer of people, it became evident to me that I didn't want to just do the interviews and go home, that I wanted to learn the mechanisms, the internal empowerment, if you will, that help to make actors, politicians, business moguls, international leaders, presidents, all manner of successful people successful. So I thought if I could use my interviewing skills and interview a cross set of people and explore some of those things, I could help people in the process. So the book it's a HarperCollins book, and this has been out since 2008. Got What It Takes. Successful people reveal how they made it to the top. And in here we've got Jeff Zucker, now president of CNN. You've got Trump, who at that point was a businessman. This was long before he became a politician. The father of reality programming, Mark Burnett, Diane von Furstenberg, makeup guru Bobby Brown, Sir Richard Branson, Joe Torre, baseball icon, all kinds of successful people, and what they had to draw upon to become successful, and the lessons they learned. And a lot of what I learned was how much I got out of failure, believe it or not.
I was just going to ask you, of all the people that you've interviewed, what was the best piece of advice that you've been able to maximize, in your own life?
Well, honestly, my grandmother lived to be 101. And on her birthday, on her 100th birthday, I was talking to her and I asked her a question. So it was an interview question. I was on television at the time. I said, you've lived this long life. You came here as a little girl because your father died and the farm burned down. You were 15 years old. You worked as an upstairs maid. You've raised 5 children. You own property in Philadelphia. Give me one piece of advice, grandmother, that you've learned in your life. And she looked up because she was lying in bed. She took my hand and said, take it one day at a time, Billy, one day at a time. And that's one of many, many things.
Yeah, I think Eckhart Tolle would go along with that. Be there now, right? Yeah. So I wanted to let our audience know about some of the things that you're going to be doing with Peacevision on a regular basis. Can you share that with us?
Well, back in 1985, basically, I've been a hugely happy person and blessed. I mean, I am one of the lucky people in the world, and my wonderful blessings continue to go on. And that is, I'm not buttering myself up. It's true. I look at how lucky I've been. Make my dreams come true, blah, 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 and so forth and so on. I'm in a happy relationship. Life is really, really good. But back in the mid-'80s, wasn't the case. I was not happy because of some personal conditions in my life. Day after day after day, and I thought, geez, I got to get out of this. So you may remember the great television mogul personality, Dick Clark. I was working with him trying to develop a game show, which we never sold. And I just started talking to him. He said, you know what? What you should do is do affirmations. I had a sense of what that was. He said, in the morning, start out the day by saying the way you want to be. Okay. So the next day I get up and I say to myself, I suggest to myself an affirmation, I am happy. Okay. Then the next day I add to it, I'm in the moment and connected in the moment. Then I add to it, I only do things I approve of today. I will do work today that's of value to people. So since the mid-'80s, I have been developing a personal set of affirmations. I did them at 3 o'clock this morning, fell back to sleep as I was just about ending them. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, the more you condition yourself with words have tremendous power. The more you condition yourself with the way you want to be, the more you're going to turn out being that way. That is a proven psychological fact. So I want to share my affirmations and share the power of affirmations and share whatever other minor wisdom I may have accumulated in my 43 years here. Well, no, I'm lying about that. In my 70 plus years here on Earth.
Well, we can't wait for you to be a big part of this team. And I know you as a very spiritual guy. I know you as a guy that has great faith. And I'm sure that, sharing that part of your life will be a big benefit to our audience. Bill, before we leave, we just wanted to play a quick clip from the Frank Sinatra interview.
Yeah, well, at the end of the Sinatra interview, I asked him to make a toast to the viewers. And he makes about, 1 minute toast. That's particularly appropriate to the times we live in and to Peacevision. So
here we go, folks.
Here's our friend Frank.
Frank.
If you would perhaps make that same toast to all of us now, I think.
I'd love to. My toast is simply that I wish everybody who is viewing us, or even if they just hear about it, I wish them thousands of times more that I've gotten in my life. I've been a man overly rewarded in my lifetime, and that's not buttering anybody up. It's a fact. And I appreciate what's happened to me, and I wish everybody in the world much more than that. And I wish everybody in the world a lot of sweet things and pleasant dreams and soft touching, hugging, and kissing, and peace in our time.
and peace in our time. That's why we have Peacevision, a portal for positive change. I'm proud to be part of it.
Welcome to you, Bill Boggs. And by the way, you can get Bill Boggs' book, Got What It Takes. It's on our website. And by the way, if you sign up for Peacevision, you can get our daily Peacegrams to bring inspiration into your morning every day just by signing up at Peacegrams. And that is at peacevision.com. You have a great day, and we'll see Bill Boggs sometime soon.